Hi, everyone. My name is Shawn Grushecky, and I am here to tell you about the Energy Land Management Program at WVU. I'm going to try to recreate the talk or the discussion I would have with parents and students about our major, and hopefully I'll shed a little bit more light on this program and answer some of the questions you might have. So let's start out with a little presentation on the Energy Land Management Program. What is an energy land manager, you're probably asking? This is one of the biggest questions we always get from both parents and students. I know a little bit about the program, maybe they've heard from some other students, or they have potentially someone that's in the industry that works in the industry, and they want to know a little bit more. So the best thing to do is ask some of our students, which I have, right? What is energy land management? In this student's words, energy land management is the practice of balancing energy and land together to extract the resources desired by society, whether for goods, services, or pleasure. All right, how about another one? An energy land manager is a relationship manager that negotiates mineral and oil and gas leases on behalf of their supervisors. The energy land manager must act as a liaison between the industry and the community and must subscribe to the code of ethics. Service must be provided with integrity. What if we Google it, right? If we look into Google and just look at the images that come up, we can see the first image that comes up now is a picture of sort of a project manager, maybe with a computer, and it has different types of renewables from solar and wind and other types of towers. We also see a picture of a wind farm. If we click zooming down on the list, we see an oil and gas well site and also a coal site. It's interesting to note that the oil and gas site that you find in Google is actually one of WVU Energy Land Management's photos. All right, so all forms of energy resources are covered by the Energy Land Management major. All right, traditionally in the field, it's known as petroleum land management. Before the WVU program was started, that's what the other programs were called, PLM degrees or petroleum land management. And it is known as the public-facing or business side of the oil, gas, and energy exploration and production team. With this, you interact and negotiate directly with private landowners and businesses to enable the development of energy resources. One of the famous sayings from the industry is no lease, no grease, meaning if you don't have a lease, if you don't have a business relationship put together or under contract, you can't develop the energy resources, right? In our words, we define it as a point person that develops relationships with real property owners in order to produce energy resources. Must understand and be able to acquire the leases, rights of way, and other grants necessary for the exploration, production, and transportation of energy. All right, must also have good financial skills and management skills and be able to understand title and environmental regulations. Must also be able to deal with both partners and competitors in a highly ethical and professional manager. Right, so all these areas of the energy land manager's job is covered by our coursework at WVU in this curriculum, right? If we look at it as a Swiss Army knife, an energy land manager must have all these different skill sets, right? From budgeting and accounting through leasing, mineral ownership understanding. They have to understand operations, permitting, environmental. Like I said, all of these different topic areas are covered as part of our curriculum at WVU. Right. It also has a great history in Appalachia. One of the most famous landmen in this area is Michael Late Benedum, who established the Claude Worthington Benedum Foundation for his son, who was known as the Great Wildcatter and was originally from Bridgeport, West Virginia. This foundation has given over $410 million in grants in southwestern Pennsylvania and West Virginia, mainly centered around education and economic development. Right, so energy land management at WVU was built based on an industry need for graduates. Is AAPL accredited, which is the American Association of Professional Landmen. We became official in the spring of 2015 and had our first graduate in the spring of 2016. Right? Why have ELM at WVU? Well, number one, WVU sits right in the middle of the Appalachian Basin, which has one of the largest supplies of natural gas in the world, right? WVU is also an 1862 land grant institution. ELM fits the mission of the land grant under the Morrill Act, and this program fits that mission very well. Under our current strategic plan, this program engages undergraduates in a real-world skill in a challenging environment. And it's also important to note that energy is a key strength of the West Virginia economy. West Virginia is 5th in terms of total energy production in the United States. Right? More about the American Association of Professional Landmen, our accreditation body. The AAPL's mission is to promote the highest standards of performance for all land professionals, to advance their statute, right, and to encourage sound stewardship of energy and mineral resources. With this accreditation, students that come out of our program are able to get professional certification, right? And the big thing that I want to go over here is that there are 3 levels of certification. The 2 greatest levels, the RPL and CPL, right? They require, the RPL requires at least 5 years of qualifying work experience, and the CPL requires at least 10 years of work experience. Important thing to understand is the degree from a AAPL accredited university gives you 3 years towards that RPL and 4 years towards that CPL for professional licensing. So if somebody comes out of a program that's not accredited, they would be way behind a student that came out of WVU's program. Many of our graduates now are becoming RPL certified professionals. This gives them a much better opportunity for job placement and also for salary. Right. The APL also provides professional education and meeting opportunities for students. Typically over 75 classes are offered a year, 17 different states. We do have a regional institute here. It's called the Appalachian Land Institute. We send students to this every year. It's usually in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. All of our students can attend AAPL educational seminars for free, which is really important. And they can also view those seminars online through their video app. And this picture here shows a group of our students a few years ago with the president of the American Association of Professional Landmen at that time. Right. Currently, those schools, AAPL accredited schools, include Marietta, the University of Tulsa, OU, Western University of Wyoming, Oklahoma City, and Texas. The largest program to date is the program at Oklahoma University, or OU. The second largest to date right now is West Virginia University. Right. Here's a short video. You'll have opportunity to access this on your own, but here's a short video that's placed by the AAPL that gives you a little bit more information on being an AAPL member and an energy land management. Right. If we look at the current coursework in the land program at WVU, includes 33 hours of courses, approximately 3, 6, 9, 11 courses. This has changed a little bit as we've added new courses since we started. Originally, there was only approximately 9 courses. We've recently added a new Energy Land Management 220, which is energy production and operations, and also our midstream energy planning and development, Energy Land Management 450. Our curriculum changes based on the input of our industry advisory board and what they see is important. And we do host these advisory board meetings every year to get feedback. Right. If you look at our program enrollment, the graph on the left shows enrollment from January of 2015 when we first started with 23 students through October of 2017, a high of around 131. This past fall, we were at about 107 students. And on the right, you can see that breakdown last fall. 17 freshmen through to 34 seniors. We typically have a freshman class of around 10 to 15 students. 17 last year is a decent sized class. Very important to realize that the job opportunities in this program have been very good. Most of our graduates that have looked for work in the energy field or the related land field have been able to find work in very, very well compensated positions. With that being said, it's very competitive, right? Our overall GPA for all students in the program as of October 2019 is a 2.95, and this is held pretty consistent. You know, this is every student in the program and their GPA, so almost a B average. It's very important to note that we do not keep students out of the program. We let all students into it so they don't have to maintain a minimum GPA other than a 2.0 to graduate. Many of the other programs force students to have at least a 3.0 before they can get into a energy land management program, and thus their GPAs are a little bit higher than ours. But I'm very proud of our GPAs, with that being that we don't have any minimums, right? Internship wise, the program requires all students to take an internship. We have had a number of students, usually between 20 and 30 students a year. ELM placements you can see from 2016 through 2019. This includes most of the majors, and we've had students that had part-time internship or throughout the semester as well, so these ones are not counted. But you can see from the right the list of companies that we've interned with. There have been at least 25 to 30 different companies, from very large major energy firms to smaller local and regional firms. So our students have been very successful. And this is one of the most important parts about our program, that we're really hands-on with the students and really encourage them to get an internship. We think this is one of the most important things that they'll do during their time in our program. It helps them build confidence. It helps them build relationships. It helps them decide what exactly side of the energy land management program they want to get into, right? We also in the past have hosted what I call the ELM meet and greet. There's a couple different years of this where we invited industry representatives to our program. During our advisory board, we've had up to 50 different companies attend. We have like a speed dating or a speed meeting round where the students sit down and they have about a minute to a minute and a half to meet with the industry representatives, and we go through so that all the students get to meet with all the representatives. They talk about their skills, they might have a resume to hand over. It's been a very popular time for the students. Right. Now on to student life. Again, our program, while large for only having 2 full-time faculty member, we're a very intimate and close-knit group, and there are a lot of opportunities for students to participate, and I feel that's one of the strengths of our program, right? Everything from in class, right? Here's on the left is a picture of one of our recent classes from a few years ago, and a guest speaker from Chevron that was in talking about his job in service land. To the right, you can see here's a group of students that we went to visit a energy development site. We do these sort of activities not only to get the students working together and engage with each other, but also to go out and get the experience in the real world what's happening, right? Some more industry tours. You can see the one on the left is a visit to a compressor station with a group of students from 2 summers ago. The one on the right is we visited an active pipeline installation with students last summer. So we always allow opportunities for students to become engaged and to learn in the world in a real setting, right? We also have a very active student association. The student association attends many functions with our local chapter of the AAPL, which is called the Michael Lake Benedum chapter. On the left, you can see here's a group of students that went to Top Golf in Pittsburgh last year to an event to network and to meet a bunch of folks from the industry, but also to try their hand at golf. On the right is last year we had a number of students, over 10 students volunteer at the MLBC Veterans Charities shoot. This was in October of 2019. You know, they were able to go there. There was probably 300 shooters. They got to interact with those folks from industry. They got to help set up and tear down an event, and also got to ride along and try their hands at sporting clays during the actual event. So these opportunities are out there and very important for the students to become involved in. Right. We also do a number of volunteer opportunities. On the left is a program that we had done in the past with Noble Energy in Pittsburgh, which was a stream cleanup, and also they did a trout stocking. On the right is a photo from some of our students a couple of years ago working at the West Virginia Botanic Garden. They planted over 25 trees in one day in the garden. So the students have the ability to get out there in the community and work towards the betterment, right? We also, one of the most important trips that we do each year is called the North American Prospect Expo. This happens in Houston, Texas around February. We typically take between 6 and 10 students to this conference. We have been there at times where there's been over 12 to 15,000 people at this meeting from all aspects of the energy industry. It's an amazing experience for the students. We spend approximately 3 days in Houston, going to all kinds of different luncheons and networking events, and spending time on the show floor, meeting as many people as they possibly can. On the right, you can see a picture of our booth at that conference. We have a large booth. A lot of alumni from WVU stop by, and it's an amazing experience, right? In order to get selected to come to this meeting, typically the students have to have a very high GPA. They have to be involved in the student association, and also have to be a good networker and someone that will represent our program in WVU well, because there's a lot of opportunities here for them and for our program to excel. Right, our graduates last year had one of our largest graduating classes. You can see here with me during a graduation ceremony. Right, our graduates are all over. Right, we have graduates with major energy companies all the way through to local and regional companies, and it's not just in petroleum and natural gas. We have a number of students that are working in solar. Seems to be one of the growing fields, especially in California and Florida. We have a lot of students that work in midstream side, which is oil and gas transportation, but they also work in fiber optic sites and also public utilities. We have students that have worked in 5G rollout and cellular service. We also have students that are going into commercial real estate, which is very interesting side of this, you know, understanding the development and the land rights and the surface rights and the chain of ownership that you need to do commercial development. So as we get more and more students out there, it helps us expand the opportunities for our current students that are getting ready to graduate. A lot of our alumni reach back and look for students. It's been very important for us moving forward. You can find more information on this website. Take your time and go through this and understand the coursework and the opportunities that we provide. And also provided my name and contact information here. You can see my cell phone listed and also my email. Please feel free at any time to give me a call or send me an email if you'd like to learn more about our program. Thank you very much, and I appreciate your time and your interest in the WVU Energy Land Management Program.